guys, and welcome to another Disney reading. Today we have Disney's Pixar, Monsters Inc. and Mother's Touch, which is showing us September 17th. And if you can hear that whimpering outside, it's one of the doggies. It's raining, but for some reason, rather than going back into the house, he wants to hang around here. But can't have him in here because he'll trample all over everything. So if you hear whimpering, it's just a silly dog. Right. Work was piling up in the offices of Monsters Inc. Celia was off with the flu, and there was no one to cover for her. Sully, the president of Monsters Inc., knew he had to act fast. "Who can he get to fill in?" he asked. "I know," answered Mike. "I'll call my mum. She'd love to help out." And so later that day, he walked Mrs. Wazowski. Sully and Mike went off to discuss some new plans for the Laugh Factory, while Mrs. W made herself at home. Very at home. When Sully and Mike returned at lunchtime, they scarcely recognised the reception area. Mike's mum had hung ruffled curtains and scattered fluffy rugs everywhere. Mike gave Sully a weak smile. "We'll change it back when she leaves," he whispered. Later that day, Mike rehearsed some new comedy routines. "What do monsters eat for breakfast?" asked Mike. "Anything they want." Sully and Mike laughed until their sides hurt, really. "I couldn't help but overhear," said Mike's mum. "It might be funnier if you wore a silly hat." Sully shot Mike a look. "Thanks, mum," said Mike. "That's a very helpful suggestion. Say, isn't it that the phone I hear ringing?" A little while later, Sully and Mike summoned her over to the intercom to come to the laugh floor. "Mum, do you know anything about this?" Mike asked nervously. He pointed to the card keys, which were now filed by colour, making it impossible for anyone to know which card belonged to which door. "I certainly do," Mrs. W replied proudly. "I have an eye for organisation, if I do say so myself." Sally turned and spoke to Mike through gritted teeth. "She's your mother. Do something." Just before the day was over, Mike went to the front desk and sat down and took his mother's hand. He'd never fired his mother before. This wasn't going to be easy. "Mum, you know I love you, and you make a terrific receptionist, but..." Just then Celia walked through the front door. Was it Schmooky Poos? Oh, I can't remember how the way she says it. Schmoopsy Poo? Called Mike. "Googly Bear?" Celia cried. "What are you doing here?" Mike asked. "You're supposed to be home in bed. I couldn't stand being away from you one day longer," Celia gushed. Mrs. Wazowski beamed. "He is irresistible, isn't he? That's because he takes after my side of the family. Well, I guess my work here is done," she said, gathering up her things. Suddenly, Mrs. W stopped. "Oh, Mikey, what were you about to tell me?" "Not a thing, Mum," said Mike, as he gave her a kiss. "Not a thing, no." So guys, if you enjoyed that story, click like. If you'd like to see more, click subscribe. And the next story will be Disney's Dumbo, A Tale. So guys, I will see you very soon. Bye bye.